The title Monster Hunter sounds so silly to me now. Something children might list on their dream jobs. Maybe not all children, just the interesting ones. The name sounds unimpressive and less imaginative than its counterparts. Hunters that deal with aliens get to call themselves guardians, those that protect against magicians and witches or wardens, and freelancers who deal with anything get to call themselves cavaliers. Even freelancer sounds better to me at this point. My dissatisfaction with my title was just the tip of the iceberg of what was bothering me. I had become jaded in my work. I felt stuck. Only having a few skills that translate to the normal world, my options seemed limited. I've been tempted to switch my focus. Dealing with aliens could be an adventure, and magic, well, that's a whole other universe. The possibilities of that world are limitless. I've always been tempted to become a monster treasure hunter, or even delve into the Hearthstone hunting side of it all, but I've fallen into a rut. The confusion and constant analysis of myself and my circumstances had left me indecisive. There is no shortage of temptations when you live a life in the shadows, but for the time being, I continued on as a monster hunter. I received an email about a possible hunt that had become available. I was already in the same city as the monster sighting. The email contained a few video files, each of them taken from different security cameras around the city's financial district. 5 different videos, all showing large wolf with black fur, bright glowing eyes, walking upright, destroying anything and anyone it came across. Several security guards died in the incident, and it needed to be wrapped up quickly, preferably before the next full moon. Along with the video files was a list of known werewolves that lived in the city. Most likely it was one of them, but there was always the possibility of a nomad wolf making its way through the city. I tracked the camera's locations to find the origin, or at least the first place the wolf showed up. The clues led me to a large banking building in the center of the financial district, and sure enough, one of the executives of that bank was a known werewolf. I planned to sneak into his office and wait for him there. I waited for hours in the dark of his huge office, plenty of time to take in the decor. It was clad in all sorts of historical artifacts. The majority of them were from Egypt, statues that looked made of sand, so delicate that even staring at them for too long seemed dangerous. Speckled in with the Egyptian theme were large paintings of different historic events in American history. As I delved into the meaning of all of it and tried to connect the dots of what I was supposed to be taking away from it, the door of the office opened. In walked Mr. Scarborough, the man I had been waiting for. He walked in without turning on the lights and headed to his desk against a bank of windows to the left. The light from the city came in through the windows enough that I could see him clearly. He sat down in his chair and leaned back, started fidgeting with a lighter. "I didn't turn the lights on for you," he said, obviously directed towards me. I didn't respond, uncertain if he was speaking into a Bluetooth or some sort of speaker I was unaware of. Maybe I should be more direct. "You can come out now." He looked right where I was standing. I was hidden in complete darkness. I knew I couldn't be seen, but he saw me. My attempt at surprise had failed miserably. "I can still smell in the dark, you know." I stepped out of the glow of into the glow of the room, slowly, very slowly taking steps towards Mr. Scarborough and his desk. "Hunters. Who's the cat and who's the mouse, am I right?" I had heard that phrase tossed around among hunters before, but it was something that only hunters said. I had never heard a creature talk about any of this before, and it raised my curiosity. "Who said that?" I asked him, as I hastened my steps to take a seat opposite him at the desk. "We do, don't we?" "Who's we?" I inquired as I sat down in the chair, trying to show that I wasn't flustered by failing to surprise him. I was starting to worry that I hadn't done enough research on him before coming up with my plan. "You really don't know? I used to be a hunter like you. I still go on hunts when the big guys are super desperate. I'm surprised no one told you." It was short notice. "Do you like it?" I realized that my gaze had inadvertently shifted to the painting above him, above the row of windows. "It's a reminder for me," he continued, spinning his chair around so he could look up at the painting with me. "Always keep going. I'm not sure if that's the intended meaning, but that's why I keep it around and that's why I look at it. He spun back to face me and my attention went back to him. I'm going to assume this is about the incident the other night. The security guards? That was unfortunate. I kept looking at him but didn't answer. I didn't want to get in the way of his confession if that's where he was heading, but he changed the subject. Do you know what this is? He reached across the desk and picked up a small liquid-filled, ornate statue. It was small abstract shapes stuck together to form what looked like a miniature modern art piece. A paperweight, I guessed? Not quite. I'm assuming you know what nectar is. I nodded a yes. I had heard of nectars, potions like serums that were derived from blood of monsters and other supernatural creatures. They were like supernatural steroids. I had heard of them, but never come across any of them yet. Well, this is werewolf nectar. He held it up. Okay. I tried to sound disinterested, but I was actually boiling with curiosity. I wanted to reach out and grab it from his hands. Do you want it? He casually stretched out his arm, offering it to me. I leaned back a bit more in my chair to create space between me and his offering. What, like a bribe? Look, we both know you could easily kill me right now. The moon is not in my favor. But maybe I wasn't here. Maybe I was in Switzerland this whole time. Maybe you came here looking for me and this nectar was just sitting on my desk asking to be taken. We both know that hunters have sticky fingers. He put the nectar down on his desk, sliding it closer to me before leaning back to wait for my response. I reached out and grabbed the nectar, bringing it in to get a better look at it. I didn't know what to look for. This was the first nectar I had ever laid eyes upon, but I ignorantly scanned it for legitimacy. Switzerland is beautiful this time of year. I looked up at him. He grinned. Well, I trust you can find your way out. I would stay, but I've got a flight to catch. He stood up from the desk, buttoned his jacket, and left the room. I sat there in the chair with my bribe. I watched him leave the office, and all I could do was think to myself, who is the cat, and who is the mouse?